Hi, I'm Melissa Muir. In this video, I would like to introduce you to the Fordham Bench Lathe. Now, the Bench Lathe is a quite versatile machine. I had no idea until I really got into working with it how much you can actually do with this and how many different accessories and attachments are available for that. So let's take a minute and check this out now. This is the Fordham Bench Lathe. As you can see, it's pretty small. Now there's a lot of different kits that you can order with your lathe, and it's just going to change the variety of the attachments that you receive. In this case, I have the K3340. This includes your lathe, the tapered spindles, the collet holder with 3 collets, as well as the wheel mandrel and the attachments for the wheel mandrel. Now you can order any number of configurations, or you can just customize yours as you go. Let's talk a little bit about this bench lathe and what it is. So this is going to be a high torque. It has a permanent magnet motor and it runs on DC power. And that's going to make this extremely quiet, smooth running, and very powerful. Now the bench lathe runs from 500 RPM to 7,000 RPM. That is actually very fast for a bench lathe system, especially if you compare it to some of those larger motors. Now the larger motors are going to run at about 3,500 RPM. The big difference here is that you are going to be using smaller buffs and wheels with this particular bench lathe. And what that's going to do is allow you to have the same surface feet per minute that you would receive with the larger buffs and a slower motor. So on this machine, you want to use up to 4-inch buffs. You don't want to go any larger than that. One of the nice things about using the smaller buffs and wheels is that they tend to be less expensive than those that run into the 6-inch range. Inserting and removing different attachments onto the bench lathe shaft is very easy. This is a 5/16 inch shaft. There is a flat spot here that is going to correspond with the placement of a couple of different hex screws. And so what I want to do is just slide that on and then tighten this up. When you have attachments that are specific for a left or a right, they are going to be labeled. So we have an L for the left and an R for the right on our different attachments. Anytime you have attachments for the motor shaft themselves, it will come with the proper tools to attach those items. Getting the machine up and running is very simple. You can just plug it in. Now, one thing I want to point out here is at the bottom of your plug port, there is a little compartment here, and you just use a screwdriver to pop this open, where we have our fuses stored. Now one is your active fuse and the other is a spare fuse. So if ever you have an issue with this, you can easily just pop in the new fuse, push it in, and you are ready to go. In order to get your machine up and running, you simply plug it in. You have 2 mounting options for this. It does have suction cup feet, so if you have a surface that is going to be conducive for that, you do have that as an option, or we have some screw holes where you can screw this down to your surface top. The CHA5 is the collet holder with 3 different collets. The collets in this case are a 1/4 inch, a 1/8 inch, and a 3/32 inch collet. And what that's going to do is allow you to mount various size shank mandrels. Now, in addition, it also comes with an Allen key, a pin, and a wrench so that you can mount everything. To get this started, I'm just going to insert it onto the motor shaft, tighten up these Allen screws, and now I'm ready to insert my collet. Release the outer portion here, insert whichever collet you are going to use. In this case, I have a 1/4 inch collet. Now before I tighten this up completely, I am going to insert my attachment. In this case, I have a 1/4 inch drum barrel that I'm going to be using. Next, I will use my pin and wrench to tighten this up. Now you'll notice that that popped out on me, and that is because there is a spring on here meant to pop this out so that you don't accidentally leave this in here, causing any kind of injury. Now that that's mounted, we're ready to turn our machine on and get to work. The next attachment that I have is the WM6, and this is our wheel mandrel. Now this is going to be used for any of your wheels that have a 1/4 inch hole inside of that. To use this, we would just open this up. I'm going to insert one of the outer mounting brackets, followed by a washer, then my wheel. In this case, I have a Pumice Eve wheel that I'm using, and finish this up by putting this back in. Now, this is a right-sided mount only because you don't want to have this unscrew and cause issues. So you would, again, just slip this on, use your Allen key to tighten this up, and once again, we're ready to go. Now that we've talked a little bit about some of the attachments that come with the kit that I have, let's talk about some of the other attachments that are available for the bench lathe and see how truly versatile this machine is. One of my favorite attachments for this is called the Flex Aid. And what this does is it allows you to take your bench lathe and turn it into a flex shaft machine as well. Now, depending on the type of flex shaft machine you have, they can run up to 18,000 RPM. So of course, this is going to be a little slower machine because we are limited to 7,000 RPM on this. So it's going to be perfect for a lot of the different things that you might have. To attach this, again, we are going to line up the flat spot of our shaft with our Allen key and tighten that up. Like so. Once you have your Flex Aid attached, then you can use any handpiece that has a keyed connection. So in this case, I have the Fordham H30 to slip it on, and now I'm ready to get to work. Now, a few things to keep in mind if you are going to be using the Flex Aid. It is right hand specific only, and no, it will not work if you put it on the left and expect to go in reverse direction, and that is because of the threading that is in the machine itself. Now, another interesting fact about the Flex Aid is that you can also attach this to an electric drill. So you have quite a few options, and where it works with any of your keyed hand pieces, you have even more options available to you. Now that you've seen that there's a lot of variety of the different attachments that you can use, join me in the next videos as I go through different polishing and grinding and sanding accessories as well.